Hello, my name is Peter Morse, and I'm going to be presenting to you a data overview of South Habersham Middle School's ELA scores from 2017 to 2019 on the Georgia milestones. This data overview is intended for the teachers at South Habersham Middle School to be used in the grade level meetings. The purpose of this presentation is to review the ELA demographic changes at South Habersham Middle School based on the data currently available, review the student achievement in reading and ELA on the Georgia milestones at South Habersham Middle School over the past 3 years compared to this district and state, focus on continuing ongoing data analysis to determine the areas of improvement within ELA from the data presented, identify the current strengths and weaknesses in current ELA instruction at South Habersham Middle School. Questions to consider while reviewing the ELA data. What are the current strengths seen within the school for reading and ELA instruction? What are some of the current weaknesses witnessed in reading and ELA instruction? What are some of the instructional adjustments that can be made to maximize current student performance in reading and ELA instruction? How can the school use current data available to enhance reading and writing in all content areas? What can the teachers adjust to see an increase in reading and writing at South Habersham Middle School? College and Career Ready Performance Index, also known as CCRPI, you can see in this bar graph that South Habersham Middle School, the district, and the state are compared. In 2017, South Habersham Middle School was above both the district and the state of Georgia. Then, in 2018, South Habersham Middle School decreased, and they were below both the district and the state. But in 2019, they saw significant gains, and they were above both the district and the state of Georgia. And they also received a bronze award from the governor for their achievements. Student enrollment. This is the SHMS student enrollment as of 2019, but it also shows the enrollment from 2017 and 2018. In 2017 and 2018, the student population stayed the same at 501 students. In 2019, they gained another student and went up to 502 students. For the most part, South Habersham Middle School has a consistent population size. Their current mobility rate is 16.2%. I was unable to find the mobility rates for the years 2017 and 2018. In this infograph, we will study the student enrollment by gender. In the 2016-2017 school year, there's 243 males and 243 females, so they were balanced in that academic school year. In 2017-2018 academic school year, there were 260 males and 241 females, so the female population decreased while the male population increased. In the 2018-2019 school year, there were 256 males and 246 females, so the male population dropped while the female population increased. Overall, the South Habersham Middle School population by gender is pretty well balanced. Looking at the student diversity by race and ethnicity, in the 2016 and 2017 academic school year, the white population was the largest at South Habersham Middle School at 48%. Next was the 45% Hispanic population. After that, you had the 3% Asian Pacific Islander, and then following those were at 2% were the multiracial and black. The only one that was not representative in this area was the American Indian / Native Alaskan. In 2017-2018 academic school year, the white population remained at 48%, while the Hispanic population went up a percent to 46%. The multiracial also went up a percent to 3%, and also the Asian Pacific Islander bracket went down 1% to 2%. Then the black population went from 2% to 1%. In 2018 and 2019 academic school year, the white population went from 48% to 47%. The Hispanic community remained at 46%. The multiracial stayed at 3%. The Asian Pacific Islander stayed at 2%. The black population stayed at 1%. And then the American Indian / Native Alaskan gained to 1%. In this bar graph, we're going to look at the socioeconomic status of the population at South Haversham Middle School. In the 2017-2018 school year, there were 378 students that were economically disadvantaged. There were 123 students that were not economically disadvantaged. Then, in 2018 and 19 academic school year, there was an increase to 381 students that were economically disadvantaged, and there's a decrease in the number of students that are not economically disadvantaged. Then, in the 2019-2020 academic school year, there's a major decrease in the number of students that are economically disadvantaged to 352, and there was an increase in the number of students that are not economically disadvantaged and with 150 students total. In this cluster bar graph, we're going to look at the English language learners and students with disabilities populations. So if you look at the academic school year for 2017 and 2018, you can see that there are 58 students that are English language learners. There's also 58 students with disabilities, and over the school student population of 486. Then, in 2018-2019 academic school year, there's another increase with students with disabilities up to 87 students total. There's a large increase with our English language learners population in 2018-2019 academic school year, which went up to 116. In 2019 and 2020 academic school year, we see there's an increase of students with disabilities up to 105, and the ELL population increased to 153. In these two pie graphs, we're going to look at the total number of teachers at South Haversham Middle School in 2019. There were 39 teachers overall. In 2019, 79% of the population of the teachers were females. 21% of the population were males. In 2019, the largest demographic of teachers were white at 95%. The next largest group was the multiracial at 3%. After that, the black population made up 2%, and the groups that were not representative of our staff are American Indian, Native Alaskan, and Asian Pacific Islander. Looking at the teachers' years of experience in 2019, you can see that there are 0 teachers that had less than 1 year of experience. There are 13 that had 1 to 10 years of experience, 21 that had 11 to 20 years of experience, and 5 that had 21 to 30 years of experience. There were, however, 0 teachers that had 30 plus years of experience. So looking at the demographics of the school, you can tell that the staff is very well rounded with their years of experience. Looking at the ELA milestones data from South Haversham Middle School to the district between the years of 2016 to 2019, one can see over the 3-year period that South Haversham Middle School increased significantly with their scores, going from 3.9% to 12.28% in their most distinguished learners, compared to the district, which went up 7.3% to 12.62%. So South had a lot larger gain with their student population. Also, they saw a decrease with their beginning learner population going from 32% down to 19%, as opposed to the county going 25 to 17%. So looking at the data, you can see that South Haversham Middle School has made incredible strides in their efforts to increase an ELA on the milestones. Looking at the ELA milestone data between South Haversham Middle School district and the state, you can see that South Haversham was very competitive in 2019 with their data. Looking at South Haversham, they had 22.4% in the beginning, 19.7% with the district at the beginning, and state at 24.3%. Then at the developing, you had 38.9%, 36.5% for the district, and then 31.7%. Then looking at the proficient, you had 30.8%, 35.5% for the district, 33.7% for the state, and then for distinguished, you had 7.9% for the SHMS, 8.3% for the district, and then 10.3% for the state. So overall, South Haversham, you can see, is doing very well and gaining more and more distinguished learners over the years. Looking at the English language arts data by race and ethnicity for 2018-19, the largest group for the beginning learner was the Hispanics at 28.6. The next group that was the largest for the developing learner was the white group at 38.1. The next group for proficient learner with the largest grouping was the 2 or more races at 53.8. And the largest group for distinguished learner was also the 2 or more races at 15.4%. Looking at the subgroups, the largest subgroup is actually the Hispanic group in this testing period with 210 students. The second largest subgroup is the white population at 197, and the smallest testing group was the 2 or more races. Looking at the reading levels for 8th grade, which is the only tested group for the state testing for reading, you can see that the 8th grade increased from 48.9% in 2018 to 64.6% in 2019. Looking at the 2019 between the district, the state, and South Howard Middle School, you can see that South Howard Middle School is higher than the district with the 64.6 versus the 63.5 for the district. And comparing it to the state, which has 66.6%, South Howard Middle School is getting really close to keeping up with the state levels. So overall, you can see that the years of working with the students on reading are paying off. South Habersham Middle School strengths. South Habersham Middle School's overall performance is higher than 84% of the schools in the state and higher than the district. Its students' academic growth is higher than 87% of the schools in the state and higher than its district. 64% of its 8th grade students are reading at or above the grade level target. South Habersham Middle School is beating the odds, meaning it performs better than similar schools. Received the 2019 Bronze Award by the Governor for the school's gains on the state testing. South Habersham Middle School has consistently high levels of attendance and has won district awards. South Habersham Middle School weaknesses. Many of the students who attend South Habersham Middle School do not have access to reliable internet with strong bandwidth. In the areas of readiness, South Habersham Middle School has a literacy rate of 57.91% as of 2019. The state has cut funding to many schools due to COVID-19, and the district had to eliminate some of the digital software used to reinforce the ELA. Many students that receive accommodations and services did not receive the attention they normally would get from face-to-face instruction. With the current pandemic, many of our SWD and ELL students may be at risk if learning goes back to virtual learning. Many at-risk students do not have transportation to access internet at the district school campuses. Next steps. Review the questions at the beginning of the presentation and determine ways to address the school's ELA goals. Discuss ways to get data on student performance in ELA and reading due to the absence of 2020 Georgia milestones. Create a plan to address our most vulnerable populations in the event we return to at-home learning. Assess the student STAR data and ELA to determine students' areas of weaknesses. Find more ways to incorporate reading and writing into all content areas within the school. Provide teachers additional training with the digital software available to help strengthen student understanding in ELA and reading.